So I started a new Visual Studio program. I called it Section 5 Arrays, and we're just going to practice with arrays. So the first thing that we're going to do is declare an array. We're going to set some of the values, and then we're going to print those values. So to declare an array, we need a data type. We need the name of our array. We need the square braces and the size. So I'm going to create an int array called age that's going to have 4 elements. We're going to set some values. So the way that we set the values is with the square braces. I need to tell which index, so we're going to set 11 or index 0 equal to, I don't know, something like 215. And then how about if we set element 3 to, I don't know, 912 or something like that. So then let's print some of the values. How about if we print age 0? So I will say age 0. Age 0. We'll force a new line in there, and we'll see what happens. All right, very good. I expect it to tell me the value that I keyed in for that. So what happens if I print? What happens if I print the array itself? So I'm just going to put age in there. I'll force a new line. I'm just going to print the name of the array. What would you expect to have happen if we print the name of the array? Well, it's given me a very, very large, very strange hexadecimal number. What do you think that value is? If you said that that is the base address or the address of element 1, you are watching the video on our presentation. You're absolutely right. The name of an array is its base address or the address and memory of element 0. So how about if instead we create a variable? I'll call this one age 3. We're going to initialize it to age, the third element, and then we're going to see out that one. Age 3. Oops. Age 3. And then we'll run it and see if I can capture a value and then print that value. I would expect it to print 912. Well, we said before that because they're stored sequentially or contiguously in memory that it's really easy to loop through arrays. So how about if we do that? We're going to create another variable. Let's call it, or excuse me, another array. Let's call it counting. I'm going to put 5 elements in it. And then I'm going to create an int value. We'll set it equal to 5. And then I'm going to use a for loop to initialize the elements in this array. So I'm going to say for count, we'll start at 0. As long as count is less than 5, because there's going to be 5 elements in my array, we're going to increment that for loop. And then what we're going to do inside of here is we are going to say counting count equals value, and then it would be a really good idea to change the value or they'll all be set to 5. So I'm going to see if value plus equals 5. So I'm going to add 5 to the value, and I'm going to set my elements in my array incremented by 5. So the next thing that we're going to want to do is we're going to want to print them out. We'll do a for loop. For. We use the same loop control variable as long as count is less than 5. Count plus plus. So the really only thing that I want to do is print them out. And count equals, we need to start it at 0 here. So the only thing that I want to do is print them out. So we want to print counting for my count And then we will force an end line. This is pretty much all that I would like to do, is to print them out one at a time. Oh, this is, should say see out. Got too many letters. All right, there we go. So I'm going to run it, and it should print out, in theory, 5 through 25, I believe. There it is, 5 through 25. Now, you may ask yourself, there is something different about the for loop on line 31 and the for loop on line 38. Can you tell me what the difference is between the two for loops? And it's a matter of syntax. I'm going to call this one a shortcut because there are no braces. And we're going to see that we don't need braces on for loops or other structures when there is one instruction. So there's just one instruction on line 39. So a for loop is created in order to execute one line immediately following that without the braces. And so I'm going to call it a shortcut because it can be a little bit more concise. All right, so I'm going to force a couple of new lines, and then we're going to try it again. So we're going to create another one. This time we're going to set a constant for the size of the array. So I'm going to create a constant variable. I'll make it int. I will call it size because constants are historically uppercase. We'll say that there are 11 values in it. And then I'm going to create a string array. We'll call it planets. What I'm going to put inside of here is the name of that constant. And then I am going to set in here comma-separated list of planets. All right, so I added some planets on line 46. Pluto, I'm going to call Pluto a dwarf planet. I don't care what you think about it. And then we're going to display the contents, and we'll do that using a for loop. So we'll set our counter variable to 0 as long as count is less time. This time we're going to use that constant that we created, and then we'll increment our counter variable. I'm going to use the shortcut because the only thing that we wanted to see out was planets of our counter variable. And then we will force an end line. So let's run it and see if we can get a list of all of our planets. There they are. Pluto has to be a planet because it's in my list.